am ko Salish. Toetitzem. Nugru am naus needsem. Nugru am naus needsem. That is the Samayach language of the Tsimshian people. And I said that my name is Crystal Smith and I'm from Gigat, which is also known as Hartley Bay. I said that I live now in Vancouver and that I'm of the Killua clan, the Wolves of the Sea. And that I said thank you to the Coast Salish people as well as to you who are here. And I said Nugru am naus needsem, which means my heart is happy to see you. The fact that you guys are here wanting to listen, wanting to make change is really powerful, and I'm very grateful for this. I'm sad to say that's the only bit of language that I know. And I am 25 years old. And that is wrong. I should know more of my language. And being in an urban center in Tsimshian territory, being way up north, it's a little bit hard to learn my language. But there are people down here that know my language but aren't able to teach because there is no funding. And how am I going to pay out of pocket? You know, I'm a single mother. I'm doing my master's in education. There's just too much on my plate already. Like, I'm a teacher on call as well. So I'm very busy. I have very limited amount of money. And I can't make a button blanket. I can't do any, I don't have sage, I don't have cedar bark, I don't have anything that I could use to connect to my culture and to have my children connect to culture, which is of the utmost importance to me. My son loves drumming. He loves anything cultural. He loves masks, he loves carvings, he loves paintings, but I can't afford any of those, nor can I afford to teach him any of those. And so just this idea that I am now 25, the likelihood of me learning that is high, as long as as long as it's accessible. And then I agree that we do need to start with prenatal. Like, I was pregnant at 17 and I was scared to death because I knew of the stigma that there was. And I feel like we need to pull that away, and we need to say, like, you have a gift inside of you. Like, this is a blessing. And if more youth who are pregnant or have children coming, fathers as well, know that they're loved and that there's a community around them that will help them take care of this child, then there won't be a need for MCF. Like, they won't have to have their children taken away, right? And so that's where I'm coming from, and my sisters already have said everything that's been on my mind. And so again, just thank you for being here.
Well, Haskahal, peace and seal, esquis, asiut. This is simply good day, my dear friends and relatives. My traditional name is Asiut. I want to acknowledge the Musqueam people, and I want to say it's good to see you again. Sorry for being late. Richmond is not my favorite place to drive around. I think parking is probably the most challenging. But at any rate, I'm really happy to be here, and I want to commend the Council of Mothers for having the courage of their convictions and for their deep sense of commitment and dedication to their peers across Turtle Island. Like yourself, Minister, I first met these young people during the Idle No More movement, and have come to know them as very serious, very dedicated individuals, I was only too happy to lend my support to their actions at BC Region several weeks ago. The first time you and I ever spoke was during former Chief Teresa Spence's hunger strike. And I remember you were there pretty much daily, and spent some very close personal time with Chief Spence. And I remember speaking to you on the phone on several occasions about that. And, I have a feeling I know your heart as a result of those conversations. And I was pretty pleased when I became aware you were the minister and so on and so forth. This issue obviously has roots in Idle No More, but more importantly, what Idle No More represented in terms of the crushing poverty and the economic marginalization and the impact it's having on the Indigenous peoples of this country. Not surprisingly, one of the primary functions of the residential school was to destroy and obliterate Indigenous languages. Indigenous languages in many ways are the crucible of Indigenous culture and traditions, and the bedrock of our spirituality. And if you destroy Indigenous language, you destroy everything. And it's just so horrible to contemplate that a colonizing power would go into a land and undertake such a program as that, to deliberately destroy Indigenous peoples and obliterate their presence on the land. Obviously, the residential school and its purpose and function was an enormous failure, and Indigenous people are still here. We're still crawling out of the rubble of the residential school experience. And it's without question, it's been a struggle, and it has taken a very heavy toll on our people, particularly Indigenous youth. Not surprisingly, given the fact that Indigenous youth comprise the vast majority of our population. You're probably aware of the CCPA report that just came out last week or thereabouts that did a profile of child poverty across this country, particularly Indigenous child poverty. And rates were as high as 60% in First Nations communities, which is absolutely appalling. Part of the Trudeau government's commitments to our people has been to mitigate and repair a lot of the damage that was perpetrated or inflicted upon us under the Harper regime. And the cutbacks led to the closing of a lot of different programs and services that somehow need to be restored. And that's pretty much what the Council of Mothers is calling for, to be able to once again provide our Indigenous youth with some form of access to the path home, so to speak. And I think that's commendable, it's admirable, it's something that obviously has widespread support, given the moral support that was lent to the Council of Mothers during the occupation from various individuals and pretty much all levels of government. I commend the Council of Mothers for how they conducted themselves during the occupation. It was very respectful, and I want to also commend your staff for how they handled the occupation. In our stronghold down in Gastown, we contemplated how previous RDGs would have handled the situation. I think the first thing they would have done is call in BPD and probably looked at extraction or something along those lines, which would have been a terrible thing. At any rate, we have an opportunity in front of us to actually do something. And I'm hoping that that something does come out of this. And I'm so impressed with with our young people, their capacity and ability to organize themselves and put together presentations and so on and so forth. It's just absolutely amazing. I remember back in the day, we were definitely not this well organized. So my heart, I have 3 places in my heart for elders, for Indigenous women and Indigenous youth. Like those are pretty much my touchstones. And so I'm here to just express our full, unqualified support on behalf of the Union of BC Indian Chiefs. And again, something must materialize as opposed to just having a nice touchy-feely, session here. It's amazing what, when the proper supports are in place, it's a magic on how our young people respond. And I have a million pictures, but I just want to show you this one I took just a couple days ago. Yeah. You'll have to make it bigger somehow, turn it sideways or...
What's he got it?
Yeah.
Oh, the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it's Marcus.
Is he related?
He's one of my grandsons. We have, Joan and I have 15 grandchildren. But as you know, in Penticton, we have an incredible school.
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
it's Out Muscala Cultural School.
Yeah.
And it offers support in terms of language, culture.
Yeah, you'll have to see it, Minister, one day.
It
It's totally
is.
beautiful. Overlooking the whole of the Okanagan, right? Yeah.
It's won so many awards in terms of its design. It looks a lot like the...
Oh, I see. If I turned it this
Yeah.
way, it would have happened right away.
So...
Well, I just want to thank you.
That's the
for-
outcome of
Yeah, exactly.
positive
Yeah.
support and investment. And so I'm going to agree to go with opportunities for Indigenous youth in urban settings. And it's possible.
So I just